And I would like to invite to the stage one of the most distinguished novelists of the 20th century, E.L. Doctorow.
As the Earth spins on its axis, its planetary sloppage of water rises in tidal swells continuously around its periphery, bulging like the cornea of a far-sighted eye. At the same time, the Earth's rotation sends the sea waters spinning in opposite directions, westward in the northern hemisphere, eastward in the southern, so that if water could plait, the Earth would twist into a long blue-green braid. If for some reason the planetary rotation decreased sufficiently, the waters of the Earth would fly off and crystallize into an ice-blue ring that would eventually attenuate and head into space, an enormous comet with all its plankton, crabs, fish, bivalves, waves, whales, siphonophores, and shipwrecks, flash frozen for eternity. The planet's remaining core of rock and mineral and molten magma would glow for a moment like an ember, or like the section of a radiant creature's toothy jawbone, before it crashed into the moon, creating a big burning, smoking mass of disintegrated ores that would be neatly sucked up into the sun like krill into the mouth of a gulper eel. So we're thankful to God that the system of cosmic checks and balances, as eccentric as it is, seems to be working. And just as there are the Alps and the Himalayas and the Andes and the Rockies, so there are undersea mountain ranges even more vast. And just as we have our sunlit river-running canyons, so does the sea bottom have its deep trenches. And as we have our flatlands and deserts, so does the seabed stretch for endless miles of abyssal plain. And just as we have our mountain goats standing transfixedly faced into the wind on the unequal crags of our highest mountains, so does the lightless, airless ocean bottom with its tons of pressure per square inch have its living tube worms and anglerfish, sea spiders, whip noses, and sea lilies undulating, slimed in the soundless blackness, their mouths agape and tentacles upheld to catch the flocculent dead matter drifting like snow from the blue and green ocean above. Nameless creature composed of tendrils with suckers on the end, stems with mouths, or jet-propelled worms with toxic stingers and ink ejection mechanisms receive as God's bounty a perpetual fall of death that keeps them alive as they squirt and wriggle about their business. This is all part of the universal plan. We are instructed that life does not require air or light or warmth. We are instructed that whatever condition God provides, some sort of creature will invent itself to live in it. There is no fixed morphology for living things, no necessary condition for life. Thousands of unknown plant and animal beings are living in the deepest canyons of the black cold water. Their biomass is far in excess of our own sunlit and air-breathing plant and animal life. At the very bottom of the sea are smoking vents of hydrogen sulfide gases in which bacteria are pleased to flourish. And feeding upon these are warty bivalves and viscous gummy jellies and spiny eels with the amazing ability to fluoresce when they're attacked or need to illuminate their prey. God has a reason for all this. There is one fish, the hatchet, which skulks about in the deep darkness with protuberant eyes on the top of its horned head, and the ability to electrically light its anus to blind predators sneaking up behind it. The electric anus, however, is not an innate feature. It comes from a colony of luminescent bacteria that house themselves symbiotically in the fish's asshole. And there is a purpose in this as well, which we haven't yet ascertained. But if you believe God's divine judgment and you countenance reincarnation, then it may be reasonably assumed that certain bacteria living in the anus of a particularly ancient hatchet fish at the bottom of the ocean are the recycled and fully sentient souls of Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Pol Pot, glimmering miserably through the cloacal muck in which they are periodically bathed and nourished. Thank you.